The question of the Maimid is that we're explaining the uniqueness of Chamisha Osa Ba'ov. This is the Giloy of the third Beis Hamikdash, Giloy of Atik, the Hei Chasodim of Atik. This is the Giloy, the revelation of the 500. That's the Hei Chasodim of Atik is 500. 5 in its full expression. In Yud K, in Chachma and Bina, and that's what causes the Aliyah of Vav K to be on the level of Yud K, as we explained at length. So how we reconcile that fact with the fact that the 15th of Vav is no real change. It just reveals the moon, but the moon was present before. As we pointed out from another perspective in space. The moon is seen before the 15th of Av is full. So it's all a question of Giloy. So he starts to explain that this fact that Chamishas Bav is only reveals that which was already there before and not really something novel, which we have to understand how that squares with what we learned already. But we see this in the original Chamishas Bav because really they stopped dying on Tisha B'Av. They just didn't know the Mesa Midbar. They only realized in retrospect that the Gzeda was over on the 15th of Av, but was over earlier. So we see the union of Gilui, of a revelation of a truth, rather than something being created, something novel happening, but rather the revelation of that which was always present. We see that in the original Chamisha Asabov. Now continuing that, V'yuvin ze behektim ois hey. Ois hey. Moishe activity the Mesa Midbar calls about Tisha B'Av, just like the Gzeda in the desert really ended on Tisha B'Av. The mistake was they assumed that the 40 years begins from the time of the sin, but they wish to counter the year of the Exodus as also part of the 40 years. They didn't know that. They didn't know that the Gzeda was over. Clearly, they suspected it was because they woke up alive. But they thought they made a mistake. But they're not Chinismalo Halavana test when they saw the moon was full on the 15th. So Bemis, this is also true of the whole Churban. That the bittul, the nullification of the Gzeira of Golus is on Tisha B'Av. Why? We learned this yet. But Tisha B'Av, Noiled Mashiach. The famous Medrash and the Gemara Yerushalmi, that Tisha B'Av was born, Mashiach is born on Tisha B'Av. And moreover, Mitzvah Tisha B'Av Mekadosh Levana, and that's why Mitzvah Tisha B'Av we Mekadosh Levana. What's sanctifying the new moon? Shin Yonid the Kiddush Levana Shem Asid Miskadosh Kamoisa. What do we say, Taka, in Kiddush Levana? That just like the moon is renewed, so too Yidden will be renewed. So Kiddush Levana is about the renewal of Eden. It really happens on Tisha B'Av. We say Kiddush Levana on Tisha B'Av. But when is it actually revealed? That we can see that the moon is renewed and full on the 15th. That's when the moon is full. Now going deeper. That Tisha B'Av is the actual beginning of the redemption. As we said, Mashiach is born. It's not only the moment after the Churban, that's the Medrash, the Gemara, the Yerushalmi. we mentioned, as I told you, that the Jew was plowing together with an Arab, a Ravi, and the Arab's cow load. First he told him, so the Churban, then it again, it lowed, Lowed, and he told him, no, that Mashiach was born. First time he told him to unhasten his yoke, because there's no point for you to live on, as it were, while you're working. It's over. While you're trying to get produce. Why? That's the pshat. And the second time he told him, no, you have a future. The Mashiach is born. So it's not only that, but the next moment. The first time, the Churban, the next moment he told Mashiach was born. Taka the same day, but the next moment. And the Rebbe says, Yelagam Lifnei Zeh Bemis, the Geula is already present even before the Churban. Quoting here from Chazal, to Yalkut, the Medrash. I want to do Hora 35. Where was that? Yeah, in a minute. Let's just finish here. Shadizeh Shola Aryeh. So the Medrash says the lion arose. The lion refers to the Mechadnetzah. It's all a play on the same words. Aryeh, lion. Not a play, actually, but the lion is the imagery here. And he destroyed the Ariel, which is a reference to the Beis HaMikdash, the divine lion. In fact, the Beis HaMikdash, the Heichal, was built like a lion. It was broad in the front and tapered in the back, narrow in the back like a lion. So the lion arose to destroy the lion, almenos, on the condition, that's in italics, because the condition precedes the Churban. Sheyovei Aryeh, that the lion will commence the Eibush Nevi Yivna Ariel and build the Beis HaMikdash. So we see from here that the intent is to be rebuilt before that was already present before the destruction, not a moment later, not even the same day, but earlier. It's only that what this intent was not revealed and known to us. This is all happening on the condition. It's concealed. But the machshavas and God's thoughts. God thought this. Not revealed to us. Because that's in order for the process to happen, for the story to unfold, and there should be the Churban Beis HaMikdash. It's only through the Churban that you can have the third one. This will lead to the third Beis HaMikdash greater than the first and the second. So the kavana is before. Now, when does it start to actually manifest? It's the moment after the Churban that his chil, agili the glasida, that the begins the redemption. Neilad Mashiach Shal Yisrael Mashiach is born. That itself is not the full redemption. That's the beginning. The fact that Mashiach is born on Tisha B'Av, and we see this in Allah. We see that the Yonim of Tisha B'Av continue even after Mincha. But even after Kiddush Levon of Mitzvah Tisha B'Av, it goes to the next day till midday. So when is the Gilui of the Shechina? When is the Gilui Geula? It's primarily after Tisha B'Av on the 15th. Now we'll understand why. On the one hand, Chamishas B'Av, a tremendous Gilui of Atik and the third Beis HaMikdash, and it's connected with the 15th, which is simply revealing that which was, because that's Taka the Emes Yishlemis Gilui, that Be'etzem, it's only revealing that which was always the intent and always the Kavanah. Because the Chamisha B'Av, which is the beginning of the revelation of the Geula, Shahaisa, there was always present beheld in Machshava Kavana but Tisha B'Av. It was present already concealed that in Machshava on Tisha B'Av, and he said before, even earlier. Looking at Order 35, he said in the Maimer from the Medrash, from the Yerushalmi, that Tisha Mashiach is born. So he says, see Yerushalmi Medrash, Sheberegel Shlach al Chuben, Shugos Parose Pamashlia, when his cow low the second time, Leid Mashin Shal Yisrael, the Pri Yitzchaim Shal Chakim Shavuos Seif Perakal Mefurish. That's in Nigla. Likewise in Kabbalah in Pri Yitzchaim, it's explicit. Shebetisha Asabov Neiled Mashiach. The 9th of Mashiach was born. That's why he says we say Takya Kiddush Lavara Matzei Tishbav, the Vasa, to state the news. Shem Hasid Mischalesh Kamais, the Yidden will be renewed just like the mood is. B'Shara Kavanas in Tishbav B'Seifa, and see there in Shara Kavanas under in the section of Tishbav, the end of it he says. That Tam Shemdim Nachem Minchas Tisha B'Av. Why do we say Nachem on Minchas Tisha B'Av? Minchas Tisha B'Av led the Mashiach and Menachem, because on Tisha B'Av Mashiach was born, and he's called Menachem. Just an interesting thing that I saw on one of the chats recently. That's going to the whole Arichas. This was in the years of 1971, Rebbe started the whole battle of Mia Yehudi. Whatever, there's a story there that Rebbe was referring to, a story of a conversion. So, I mean, the Rebbe starts a Verbrengen with this whole tragedy of Mia Yehudi, of Gir Kalacha, and he says he's going to repeat what he's saying again, so it shouldn't be misconstrued by the press and pick up half a statement and invert what he's saying. A story there with convert children. And then the Rebbe smiled. They write there in the Anocha, like the press does, the press, the media, the press, the newspapers write fictitious things, like I was born on Tisha B'Av. So the quotes there, and they on the WhatsApp they actually show the newspaper clipping where there's a biography on the Rebbe, and in the context of his whole war against Mi Yehudi, and they write, Menachem, they say B'Shnei son, born on Tisha B'Av. Trying to smile, so it's going to be very clearly saying that. But this is off the record, but it's on the Ashgacha Pratis. I mean, that's the emes. There is the connection to Tisha B'Av. Actually, the Gashmius, Yud Aleph Nisan, is 9 months after Tisha B'Av to the day, because there's no, not Tisha B'Av, not Matzai Tisha B'Av, a husband and wife together. So Mamish B'Diuk, 9 months is Yud Aleph Nisan. That's what Chassidim say. Kaponim. The Gemara Taka there brings there the Gemara, the story of the cow, concludes there in Mashiach Menachem. The Gemara says his name is Menachem. Vav Yesh Leimar. So we had another shaila about the Mishkan. The Mishkan is Chamesh Esrei Ama Kloim Lakosev, that each side of the Mishkan was 15 amas. And explained that Kosef is Begematria 500. And the 15 amas, that's Yudke, so the 500 is the Chasadim of Atik, and that's the Kosef, the shoulder, the side. And the 15 amas, that's Yudke. Ramshacha explained how is it, this was explained earlier in the Maimah, how is it that Zon Malchus can have an aliyah to be on the same level of Chachma and Bina. That's because in Chachma and Bina is a whole radical Gilui of Atik. And that's expressed also in the Mishkan. And the Shaila is, Mishkan, it says way before the whole story of Tisha B'Aviv. How can we speak about this tremendous aliyah that happens Chamish Asabav is reflected in the Mishkan that precedes even the story of the Chatem Aragli? Now we have the answer, Yesh Loimba. Yeah? Folks, the reason, therefore, that the commandment to make a mikdash with tzivui, l'doiris lashes bais Hashem. This includes not just the Mishkan, but the future house for Hashem forever. Tzivui al kol bati mikdash, it's a commandment that Rambam brings the halacha, this pasuk. And actually the pasuk, the Lashon pasuk is not Mishkan, but mikdash, to allude to that, or to state it clearly. It's Tzivui kol bati mikdash is all the commandments, including the final base of mikdash. Namar, where is that mitzvah, that commandment conveyed? Where is it said begilui? What's in a revealed way? But again, it's our Mishka. It's the Mishka who the Mishkan already then in the Mishkan, it's all present at the outset because the whole kavanah, the whole intent is Gilui of Atik, and therefore it's factored into every mitzvah and it's present, especially into the general mitzvah of the mitzvah, the Mishkan. Because already in the Mishkan is included in a latent way, but not revealed, the Beis Hamikdash, which is a permanent dwelling, as opposed to the Mishkan, which was temporary. That's b'chitzonis, but b'pnimius, it's permanent, including Gam Beis Hamikdash the future one. Shehu oyel bal yitzan, it will be a tent that will not come down, and the pegs will be forever. And the Rebbe is answering why. We have the answer to the obvious question in the pasuk. Why does the pasuk describe the future Beis Hamikdash as a tent? And he says bal yitzan, it doesn't fall, it doesn't come down. And you say deisav netzach, and the pegs are forever. Why use imagery? Because he wants to bring out, the pasuk is saying what the Maimah is explaining, that even the Mishkan be'etzem, be'pnimis was eternal. And it still exists. Everything that Moishe Rabbeinu made exists. It's still there. So Ikerinyan Akviyas will be when, in the third Beis Hamikdash, but it was already present, the permanence already present in the Mishkan. This is similar to that which is known by Geulas, the respect to the redemptions themselves. It's also, the Geula is not something fundamentally new. Why? Because Megula, this is Mitzrayim, Niftach HaTzinner, why including Kol HaGula is by Mitzias Mitzrayim, it opened up the Tzinner, the path, the pipeline, literally, and the channel. And it included already all the future redemptions, including the final redemption. The revelation of the third Mishkan will come through this whole lengthy process of Zman HaGolus. It'll be revealed only over the course of time. What is required in Zman HaGolus that we didn't have before? It's Avodah Tshuva. Mitzias Mitzrayim was the birth, yet we're innocent, that's tzaddikim. And we need a higher avodah, that's tshuva. And that's why the future redemptions was in a concealed way, because there still had to be the avodah of Zman HaGolus, which is the avodah of tshuva, but then it were revealed that Yitzias Mitzrayim was, in essence, the redemption, which is why we mentioned, one of the answers why we mentioned Even when Mashiach comes, we mention Yetzias Mitzrayim. Why? Because when Mashiach comes, it's just the completion of what happened then. And Be'etzem, the Geula happened then. As the Maharal says, so this brings it, the big Chiddush of Yetzias Mitzrayim is that a Yid cannot be in Golus anymore. The Neshama. The Neshama. As it was before Yetzias Mitzrayim. As the Frierdiker Rebbe said, standing on the platform, and Yud Beis Thomas quoting his father, only the Gufim went into Golus, but the Neshama never went into Golus. That started when? Yetzias Mitzrayim. And then the whole process and Tshuva, they will embrace even the Guf and even Chatoyim and darkness into light. Continuing, that's will explain why the Mishkan already has in it this inyan of Atik, which is inyan Atzmi and permanent. It was Hayachamishase Amma Klema because of 15 Amas. What Kloyim means the mesh for each side. Even though that's a third base of Mikdash inyan, Gilui of Atik. Answer to Mishkan Kolul, because in the Mishkan was already present. Also the base of Mikdash, the first and second, and even the third. Yafim became nonetheless the Hoyu Tovim. You saw Kamishas above, but the Simcha only happens a Chamishas above. Such a Simcha, even though it's only revealing that which was present all along, because Lifnei Achet HaMaraglim, before the Chet of the Maraglim, and that's when the Mishkan was built. Kashem Mitzatzei Ishtash Shlohi Nitzines Mokem LeChruben Beis HaMikdash. I'm not sure the Hezber here. He says Mitzatzei Ishtash itself, Chruben is impossible. He said before. What did he say before? Adonai. He said that when Vavke is separated from Yudke, that gives an smokim. That's Seder Shtarshalos. Some Seder Shtarshalos is unique in Chitzainim. Here he says, Mitzat Seder Shtarshalos, there can't be the Churban. Maybe the pshat is there's a big difference between Yedik and Chitzainim. That Klippa gets nourished, but it's still secondary Kedusha, still right, and Kedusha and justice still prevails. There's Yedik. But Churban, that's not Mitzad Eshtarshalos. How can there be a Churban? Because a Yid is given Bechira. Because a Yid is given Bechira, this is Bechitzonius, therefore we can do even corrupt even nature to the point that even mitzad nature it's unnatural. A chet, a sin be'emes, is the inverse. It's lower than teva. It's rooted in Haydn teva. Haydn ishtarshalos, that's tshuva, reveal the source. It's like Oides the Toyo. Oides the Toyo. It's Haydn ishtarshalos. Haydn ishtarshalos itself. But it's embedded within creation. But it's really hiding the system. Perhaps that's the pshat. Anyway, fact is, he says, there's no place for churban. Some is talking about the third base of Mikdash. What? The whole unit of churban is not shayah. So therefore, the whole thing that it's going to be destroyed and it's going to lead to the third base of Mikdash is absolutely not whispered by God to us. It's totally concealed. That's why it's there in the Mishkan. In the Mishkan before the whole process, because this inyan is totally concealed. And only after the story begins to play out, what was the Queen Edition to go to Yisrael? וגם, מה זכות שאנחנו בבית המקדש at the beginning of the Churban, as we said earlier, that the Eibishter decided then already that the Beis Hamikdash shall be destroyed on Tisha B'Av. Ki also is Hascholas Hamshacha, the Beis Hamikdash Hashlishi V'Adag the Machshava, and then Behelim in a concealed way, level of thought, Hashem is now already setting in motion the Churban in order for the Beis Hamikdash Hashlishi. Therefore, in B'Chamisha Asabav, B'Kol Shana, therefore the 15th of every year, starting then, starts the revelation of this deep Kavanah Pnimis that was impossible mitzad ishtalshalos and therefore utterly concealed before the process actually began, before the Chatam Araglim, before the Churban. But however, comes the 15th, that already starts the process of Giloy of this Kavanah Pnimis. Maschim Chamish Vasa by Kol Mesim Midbar, starting with the original 15th of Av, when the dead stopped dying. Balachas come Balach Beis Hamikdash for sure, and much more so after Beis Hamikdash when Mashiach is born and the process of Teshuvah and rebuilding begins. So that's who Gili. So what is all of this therefore? The Mishkan. The Mishkan means it's there Behelit. So it'll only come out later, the Gilui of the Pnimis, of the deeper meaning of what is this, of the Chamesh Es Maklei Makosef, the fact that it was 15 Amas to each side, Shemachasar HaMishkan, it was not known then, this is what it is. Tachlis Behelim. But now it comes out that what is there all along in the Mishkan, which is Be'etzem the Beis HaMikdash, even the third Beis HaMikdash, Yomim Amshachas Atik, it's a Gili of Atik. 5 times 10, the Heichasad of Atik, be Yudke. And since Yudke is transformed, of that is a Gamba Malchus, therefore Malchus is transformed. That's the Vavke Yiyeh, the Vavke becomes a level of Yudke, and that's why in oil, but yet further depth, why it's called an oil, because oil goes on Malchus. Tenth, for many reasons, like in Pashtus, Malchus is a word, you don't always have to speak. A tenth, words are not always present. Like a tenth is temporary, but what's going to be oil Bal Yitzon, that which is Mitzad Ishtalshel is temporary, becomes eternal. Malchus is elevated, as we explained at length. The subjectivity of Midas and the limitation of Malchus of action, which can even be negative, becomes transformed and elevated. Bal Yitzon, Beis Hamikdash Hashlishi, the third Beis Hamikdash, she'ein shaykh b'hefsek, that it cannot be. Not only does it go on forever, because nothing will tear it down, it itself is not shaykh to hefsek. The point made earlier in the Maimon. Right? Well, following this, yeah. Beautiful, beautiful thing coming, friends. And the Eibishter says, you cry for nothing, I'll give you a reason to cry on that original Tisha B'Av. Now the Rabbi says, so what's going to be in this? That's what Tisha B'Av is. You have a reason to cry. So then will be in this gala, the Kavanah Pnimi Shel Abchir, the Tisha B'Av Hadishem, will be in this gala, the inner intent of the first Tisha B'Av, the crying of the first Tisha B'Av, Yivka Balayla Hu. They cried that night. There's a unique Vabchir. God established that day is a day of weeping and crying for generations. So that's in the order that there should be the crying Bali Yosef when Mashiach comes. The Bechi with weeping, they'll come back. Crying tears of joy. Mitzad is galus madregas. Hagvois, because of the incredibly powerful, lofty revelations, that this will be tears of joy. Like the Gemara says, Gabi Rabbi Akiva, when he grasped the secrets of Torah Shir Hashirim, which is all about the Eibishter's great love for Yidden, Zolga in of the Moishe's eyes poured with tears. Tears flowed from his eyes. The Moishe al Simcha, tears of joy, misadriba ya'oi, because of the great and awesome revelation. V'zeh, continuing, Shabach Mishabasa Bavoy B'nai Yerushalayim. It's the Mishnah says then the Masechta Tainis. Yeah, the Chamisha Basa above the daughters of Yerushalayim, V'yesh Gerisin, and some Geris B'nai Yisrael. Still Gerisis there. Daughters of Jerusalem, daughters of Israel. Yoitzeis V'chaylois B'chramim. They would dance in circles in the vineyards of Yerushalayim. That's how Chamisha Basa was celebrated. What's the Pnimius? What is it alluding to? That circle, that dance is similar to the circle in the future, as the Nevuah says, Asad HaKadosh Baruch Hu. The Gemara, that the Eibishter will make Machal at Tzadikim, a circle for the Tzadikim, and he'll be in the center. And every tzaddik will point with his finger and he say, here is our God, our hope was in him, and he saved us. This is the God for whom we hoped. Now, we rejoice, be glad and rejoice in his salvation. So first of all, the need of Machal. That's why on Mishmas above the Neshamas Yisrael, the Yidden went out at this circle, this dance, echoing the Machal that will be when Mashiach will come. Because that's what Mishmas above is. And moreover, he says, the B'tiyas Mitzrayim Omro, when they, by Kriyas Yamsov, which was the completion of B'tiyas Mitzrayim, what did Yidden say? Zeh, they said the word, this is my God, Pamachas one, Zeh Keriv Adveyu. This is my God, and I'm glorifying. But lost love, but in the future, the Pasuk just quoted, the word this appears twice. And then again, what's the two mentions of Yudke Vavke? Answer. The level of tzaddikim. They said, this one. What's that? That's the lower level of Shem Havaya, Giloy Havaya Dezah. That Shem Havaya of the Midas. But Lasid Lova, Ishiba Madregas Bali Tshuva. Lasid Lova, Yidden will be in the level of Tshuva, as you said before. That's the Kavod of the Golas, is Avedas HaTshuva. And Tshuva is Kiflaim Tushi, a double measure of wisdom. The Mishnah told Moishe Rabbi with respect to the second set of Luchas, where he revealed much of Torah Shabbat Peh, which was not revealed before. Therefore, the double Yemer Shnei Pamim Zeh. It's two, this Zeh Havaya. The lower level, Gil Havaya Dezah, and the higher level, Giloy Havaya the Atik. Giloy Havaya Atik. Let's stop here and save for the last few lines for tomorrow, Be'ezrat Hashem, and then a review of the Maimer. And then on the Ledoiji. Okay, you have to go daven.